so Kay and Josh, let's go ahead and make that right in the screen so my assistant doesn't get lost. Okay, he tells me he passes before his time, and it was, he tells me it was situational, and so I think that we would take partial responsibility, but for the situation. And then, oh my gosh, my heart starts like beating. I feel, and this is nothing bad, okay, and he has dark hair, and my heart starts beating. I feel like there's some acknowledgement, and he's okay and he's at peace and he can communicate with me, but I feel like there's just a little bit of panicky right before it ended up happening. He gives me a sign symbol of like adverse weather conditions, so it's almost like a situation that essentially gets out of control. We don't expect it to end up happening, and then there's a moment of realization and we can't fix it essentially, and then it's a little bit gray. So I feel like I'm in, obviously in the situation, or put myself into a vehicle with, just hypothetically into a vehicle in adverse weather conditions. So he goes, and it really affected my upper body, and he goes, and Kato, I think someone found him. Does this resonate with you so far? And then he's telling me more things, so I just need to know if I'm even in the right direction or if I'm talking to... He was my fiance. Yes, his son found him. Okay. Woo, and he even wrote that down too. Okay. He was my fiance, and yes, his son found him. Okay, and then as you say that, he goes, and it just, situation out of control. So I get him being in a comfortable spot, and there being like a... It's almost like I go to do something about it. I'm either like aware something's happening, and then and before there's any correction, any correction, it's already done with. So I'm like, was it because you were experienced? But I keep tossing it, and then at the same time, I have that juggling fact of it being like situational in some way. Upper chest, hard to breathe. Situation that got out of control. Yeah, let me know how this person ended up passing. In a comfortable spot. Did you know it was going to result in your death? No. Nope. Nope, that's the shoulda, woulda, coulda, Kato. But it's not that I'm not taking responsibility for having done whatever for X amount of whatevers, Alright, I am on edge. Whew, I'm on edge. What is this fiance of yours telling us? Translator, please. Wifey poo. And we have to remember that it's going to filter people's comments, so we got to give her a second. Okay, and this may or... I'm going to hear what you have to say, and then I'll say this other thing. He passed in his mom's backyard where we were going to get married. What did they say he passed from? Oh, I don't know if you ever randomly feel like you got like a little bug on you, or like one little hair on your leg, and you go to brush it off and nothing is there. That is the feeling of physical mediumship. So if that happens, or like one little hair being played with on the top of your head, yeah, that is physical mediumship, ladies and gentlemen. happens all the time when I'm channeling, especially if I'm waiting and channeling, like if I'm like communicating with you and like have to slow down on their messages, like right now, like I just feel it but nothing's ever there. Wild. So that's physical mediumship for anyone who needs to know. Hi, Starshine from TikTok. Hi, Julia. Glad you're back. Hey, Bambi. Your mom is on the other side now. Well, guess what? You've been following me for a lot of years, Anita, so you know, just give her a little bit of time and she'll be sending you signs and symbols in absolutely no time, for sure. Yeah, do those feelings happen to you often? I bet that they do. Jay Calhoun. Okay, Kay said, I used to feel him all the time right after he ended up passing. What did he end up passing from? Did he just, because I want to know why he takes this partial responsibility. Did he just drop out of nowhere? What did they say that it was? I used to feel him all the time right after he ended up passing. Right, so right at the beginning of him ending up passing is when you felt the physical the most. Okay, so now he says, he goes, well, I still send her the music, and he laughs and he goes, well, I'm not that creative. And so I feel like you've had dreams of him, but I feel like it's only going to be one or two, and he tells me it's a frustrating time period to only have one or two dreams, so it just tells me he's been gone for a few years. But I need to know what he ended up passing from, because he's taking that partial responsibility for the situation. And I was like, okay, so you're just in your mom's backyard. That's not really telling me anything. Was he tired the day before? Did he pass of a heart attack? What was going on? He was so young, I feel. So I definitely don't feel that he's not crossed over in any way. I'm just trying to know what he takes partial responsibility for. And he says he sees you you hear him in the music, and he sends you repeating numbers. And I have this other thing I want to bring up, and this might be relevant or not relevant, but I just see him over there with a little child energy, maybe a little girl energy, okay? And so I don't know if you ever miscarried, or maybe you ever want to have another child. He just happens to be over there with one of those. So I just definitely thought it was an honorable mention at this point. And then you can put emojis in the comment section. How will I know if my mom is with me? You'll get most likely signs and symbols, especially if you're paying attention and asking for those signs and symbols and requesting that, and then paying attention to the answer. It's like saying, that's our daughter. Yes, I lost a baby. Okay. And wow, what were the chances? Because he brings through this little girl and talks about her, and he's over there with her, and she's absolutely at peace as well. And there's just even more validation. Wow, that is so cool. And that's your guys' daughter that you had or would have had together. And I don't know if you'll get her back in this lifetime. I think he's keeping her. You can have different ones. He's keeping that one. And yeah, they look just like each other, and they're happy up there. So he's not alone, and everything's all right. And that was that one other thing that I had wanted to talk to you about, because I did see her up there. And he loves you right back, and he'll see you shortly. And pay attention, whether it's a repeating number, whether it's a blip in a dream. Pay attention. He'll see you shortly. Love.